up, everybody? Welcome to the IAG Thursday Thing, this thing that we do every Thursday that we try to do at 5 Eastern. We used to do it at 4 Eastern, but have never done it at 6 Eastern, which Warranty seems to think is a thing when it is not. So you may hear some interesting cuts in this because this is supposed to be a news episode. I got a feeling we're going to end up moving this around. So we may or may not be joined by longtime partner in crime Warranty, but we do have Mr. Producer Jordan on. Jordan, how you doing, bud? I heard you're back at work.
Yeah, I went back to work this Wednesday just because I am very bored and tired of being at home, and my surgeon said that insurance is not going to cover a surgery anytime soon, so I might as well go back to work while being pumped full of steroids and, painkillers. So, I said, okay, as long as I can deal with the pain. Don't get me wrong, the pain fucking sucks. It's terrible, but at least I'm out of the house doing something.
I mean, that's a thing.
Making some money again.
I saw you were working on Dolly a little bit, the BRZ. You got
yep.
what is that, like a Beastronics or something? The pedal dance dealie?
Yeah, so I was gonna make a Facebook post after I had the whole front or the dash bag together, but our buddy Jeremy was very kind to send his old track box. It's a little computer chip that automatically does the Serial BRZ pedal dance to turn off the traction control. So we can just turn the car on and the traction control is completely off, and we don't have to wait for the car to go all the way up to temperature and then do the whole
oh my
Xbox
god,
cheat code
that is so nice.
Beautiful, so nice. We just click a button and boom. So what I did was figure out where it needs to plug into, and then I took the trunk tray because we kind of agreed on where we wanted the buttons, and I pulled that out of the car, drew up a 3D model of like a bezel to mount the actual buttons to, and then I 3D printed it, and I put it in this morning, actually.
Yeah, I saw some pictures of it. It looks pretty good. It's clean. I'm feeling it.
It's pretty clean. The print didn't come out quite the way I wanted to, so I'll probably reprint it again, but I mean, it does what it needs to. It just holds the buttons.
Yeah, I mean, that's all we really needed to do, and it was easy enough to get to it, so whatever. I'm not freaking out about it.
But it's black too, so it just blends in with the rest of the dash. You can barely tell it's there.
Yep.
It kind of looks like it's part of it, minus the edges need to be cleaned up a little bit. But yeah, no, it's nice. So I just got to put the radio back in, and then it's all buttoned up, ready to rock.
So, our Randy also did our thumbnail, so appreciate it, Randy. Warranty. He made it.
I made it.
All right. So
sorry.
Yeah, I already told everybody there'd be some weird cuts, so there'll probably be a weird cut, and producer Jordan's gonna make some stuff happen. We'll be all right. Yeah. So we can do the news.
All right, let's do the news.
Warranty. First off, I just got to throw this out here. At no point have we ever done 5 CST, which would be 6 EST, ever.
I don't know if that's right.
That's
man.
right.
I don't know if that's right.
1,000%
right. We have never done that. We've only ever had one late episode, and we started it at like 9 o'clock at EST.
Yes, that was big late.
It's always been 4 EST, and then we switched it just to help you out.
Warranty. We are only like 3 episodes away from 100 episodes.
Oh man, that's wild.
Okay, 100 episodes, and you do not know this by now.
So yeah, it's
we've been doing this for a couple years now.
It's been busy. Yeah, I guess you're right. You did move it from 3 o'clock Central to 4 o'clock Central, and it is so much better. So yeah. Sorry, I mean,
I did that for you.
For 5 Central.
Yeah, we did it because you had like meetings every Thursday.
Yeah, you turned into.
I did. Yeah.
You're all like important and shit now, adulting.
Yeah, I changed teams, and my boss set a weekly meeting for 3 o'clock every Thursday. So just 1
3 o'clock Central, everyone.
Yeah,
Central. Sorry, yeah, Central. 3 o'clock Central. What did I say?
When he did that, did you punch him in his mouth? All right, so
All right. I'm here now. We do some edits. I'm here.
Yeah, we can do a few edits. Let's catch up on some quick news. This weekend is SubiFest Midwest. Now, by the time you are listening to this as a podcast, it will be done. Okay, but this weekend is SubiFest Midwest, and I am going up there. I was going to fly. Sounds like I have to drive now through a whole pile of issues, so I'm driving. The cool thing is, I think you and I are going to set a table up. So I want you to bring your mics, and we're going to we're going to do kind of an ask me anything, like prove me wrong, whatever kind of thing. I think we're going to have a good time with it. We're going to sit behind a table and we're just going to argue with people. I think
sounds like a great time.
Guarantee we're going to end up doing some sort of track slut your Subaru seminar thing.
Okay.
So we're going to go and talk about that. And maybe we'll record that too. So basically anything we can record, we should record.
Nice. Yep. Sounds good to me. I'm looking forward to it. So
all right,
I'll be seeing you Saturday morning, or are you going to come in Friday sometime?
Oh, I'm going to take off probably about 2:00 my time ish. So that would be 3:00. Okay. So and I'm going to haul ass up Friday. So tomorrow I'm going to take off and boogie up that way.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let me know what your plans are for dinner. And if not, I'll see you Saturday morning.
I don't, depends on what time I get there. If we're talking, it's 8 hours. So 7.
Yeah. True.
So it's going to be late. I really don't have a plan for sleeping or anything yet. Maybe I'll just come straight to you. Okay. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds good. I mean, I'll be up. I'm typically up till like 11 o'clock or midnight. You just let me know in advance and
You got a couch?
I can make space for you. Yeah, I got this couch. It's actually really nice. I can sleep on it.
No, I'm down with a comfy couch. I just want a comfy couch. I'm good. That's all I need. I'm a simple guy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. If it works for me, it'll work for you.
Sweet. All right. Now we can do proper the news. So you got a few topics ready to go, and I'm sure we'll come up with some more as we go.
Yeah, I do. I don't have my list in front of me, so I'm going to read back in the chat. Okay, number 1 is Subaru is done producing the Legacy. We have heard about this because it was announced a while ago, but production's got to run through. So Legacy was produced for the American market in Indiana, Subaru of Indiana, SIA. And the last one rolled off. It was almost 1.4 million vehicles. So wild. Kind of an accomplishment.
The very last Legacy rolled off. It was not last week, but the week before is when it rolled off, I think.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, that is crazy.
The Legacy started, I think, in 1989. And in the early part of that Legacy, the model's history, they did the endurance runs where they drove that car for 24 hours straight and figured out how far they could go. And it was just, I forget the number. I can Google for it, but it was an ungodly distance. Set the world record or something like that. They had 3 cars, all 3 finished in their 24-hour run. They've
done quite a few different things as far as that goes. They use that car for all sorts of crap to kind of showcase what the new EJ at that time and like their current architecture. And a lot of people don't understand. Almost everything with Subaru started, I mean, up until recently, started in the Legacy first. Okay? The EJ started in the Legacy, and then if you look at the original first-gen Legacy and the underpinnings of that, and then look at the first-gen Impreza that came a few years later, you can... It is direct lineage, okay? And they ran the Legacy in World Rally Championship. Even Colin McRae ran it for a little while before they got the Impreza. They did a lot of stuff with the Legacy. The Legacy was kind of the genesis of everything new, okay? And then... not the second gen, but the third gen Legacy, that was actually the first Legacy to have the multi-link rear suspension. So that started in that. Okay. And then the next Legacy after that was the first one to go CAN bus, which would have been like that 04, 05 generation time frame. And basically everything that was a 05 Legacy-ish GT, that's an 08 WRX and STI. Like, that's how it would happen. It would always be a couple years later. What went on in the legacy then is what ended up happening. So then even later down the road, then you got the 10 to 12, maybe 13. I'm going to mess these years up because I'm not a legacy aficionado as I should be. And legacy GT guys, man, they're going to eat me alive for not getting this right. But because they are a precious bunch. But either way, that's where they debuted a bunch of newer directions that Subaru was taking. They had an EJ in there, but it had the front mounted turbo like an FA. So they tested all of that on there. And then they also had the 5+1 speed. So it was a split case 5-speed, but it had an extra gear making it a 6-speed. So it was a split case, like Subaru built 6-speed. And that's it started life in there. And then you saw a lot of that, what worked and what didn't, end up making its way into the 15 plus WRX, which, you know, Impreza technically based, even though it wasn't called an Impreza. It showed up in there. So like all of it started with a legacy, and they would test stuff on the legacy, and it was always kind of the bleeding edge of whatever Subaru was doing. And some of it was like bleeding edge to the point where it didn't even make its way onto the Impreza because it was maybe too nice or whatever. I still to this day say that like the 05 to 08 legacy GTs, especially the Spec Bs, those cars punch so far above their weight as far as like interior quality, like touch surfaces. They were way more European feeling. Okay. You weren't wrong. You weren't being crazy if you were cross shopping a BMW with that, you know, and people were Audis, BMWs, stuff like that. And you're like, I don't know if I'm feeling that, but maybe this Subaru, and you would have that. And if you think about it, if you look at, you know, maybe even like what an Audi S4 was in the early 2000s, just a few years later, you got the Legacy GT with essentially the same horsepower. You know, it was a 4-cylinder, but it was the same kind of vibe.
Yeah. Gosh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I remember one of the first fast cars I was ever in was just probably a stock Audi S4 driven by a high school student. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
It's amazing. You're like, you're running like mid 14 quarter miles. You're like, oh my God, I can't even hold my neck up.
Yeah, exactly that. Losing my mind. Oh, this is so fast. Oh my God. Yeah.
I remember the first time I felt VTEC.
I got the record completely wrong. It wasn't 24 hours. It was the 100,000 kilometer speed record, which took them 18 days, 24 hours a day. All 3 cars finished. It's about 62,000 miles in American units. Average speed of 138 miles an hour. So that means they had to be going faster than that because they had to stop for things like oil changes and tires.
Didn't they do that on Talladega or something? Like they did it on some rowdy track, if I remember. It was like Daytona or something, and they just ripped crazy amounts of and they would have had to stop and do oil changes like every at least like 10K or something. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And you got to think oil technology then is not what it is now. Okay, nor is tire technology and other stuff. And that was a pretty early EJ. That was phase 1 stuff. That is wild, man.
So according to Google, specifically the AI, so it could be wrong, but it says it was January 1989 at the Arizona Test Center, which is near Phoenix.
I wonder if anybody else has attempted that record since.
According to Road and Track, as of 2024, they still hold the record. I remember reading this article at the time. I don't remember every detail.
I would, you know, you gotta think like I don't know, like a C8 Corvette or something, some big displacement, non-turbo, like simple but very aerodynamic thing, you know, with a big gas tank should be able to like rip through that, but maybe not. maybe the answer is small displacement, basic bitch car that it just beats it on simplicity.
The car looked like a slipper. It's probably running a 2.2 back then.
Actually,
1989.
it depends on which one they were using. Okay, it like I don't know which engine. It could have been the EJ22. It could have been an EJ20 turbo. It could have been a 2.2 turbo. I don't know. I'd be interested to know what they were running. I think they also had the 1.8s at that point too.
Okay. It was turbocharged.
Okay, then that's the EJ22T. Like that's if it was a US based. So it was either a 20 or a 22.
That was JDM spec.
Okay, then it was a 20.
Pit stops were made every 2 hours for a driver change and refueling, and tire changes were made every 96 hours, which is 13,400 miles. So, yeah, that's a lot of prep and a lot of work. And then all 3 cars finished. They had 3 chances at it, and they got all 3.
That's wild.
Yep. So
I'd like to see somebody else do that, and then go with 3 cars too. And I want to see all 3 finish.
Yeah. I'd like to see EVs do it or hybrids do it if they could figure out how to make it faster by making the cars more efficient.
I think it'd be really hard because they would have to find a way to do battery swaps as it sits now.
Yeah. And it's not like they're slowing down, so you don't get the regen benefit on a hybrid. So, a diesel would be like, it's the best device for powering this thing. And, or a gas engine would be a nice second.
That'd be
legacy.
Yeah, legacy. I mean, left a legacy. I got to be real. I don't think this is the last we're going to see of that nameplate. I just think it falls in a really strange place right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. The later generations were uninspired, but the Lavorg, which was the sedan or the station wagon version of the legacy, looked fantastic. So, I don't think it'll be the end either.
Yeah. For sure.
So let's look. What is next on the news list? Oh, pricing for the 2026 BRZ is now available. So first of all, pricing has gone up because of inflation and potentially tariffs. This has always been the case, but we're just seeing it a little bit more recently. We spent so many years with really low inflation that we're just seeing either regular inflation or slightly high inflation now, and people just aren't used to it. So first of all, the base model has been dropped. So right off the bat, that's like a $2,000 upcharge to go from base to limited. And then
what did you really lose with a base?
The seats quality is slightly lower. So the colored trim is not colored. It's just gray. I think the speakers are a little bit weaker. I think it's 6 speakers instead of 8 speakers. All the cars come with eyesight now, so that's not a differentiating factor.
Man, that would have been
the wheels.
That kind of saddens me because that means if you were trying to get the cheapest one you could to go slut up, there's no longer the cheapest
base model. The base model was the one that came with Prius tires, so the Michelin Primacy, HP Plus or whatever they were, which were fun but really bad, I can say. Like, they were bad on track, they were bad on the road, just awful to live with. Like,
I got rid of
them. I got just bad. Like, I have a set of those, and I'm not even gonna burn them down. I'm just gonna throw them in the garbage. They're terrible. So yeah, on average, year over year, the pricing is only up 3.7%. So it could be a whole lot worse, but the dollars still feel like big dollars. So now the BRZ starts manual at $35,860. So call it 36 grand. That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money for a 200 horsepower, 220 horsepower, or whatever. Small vehicle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, kind of non-practical. One of the things that made that work is it seemed like, well, I could have this. I can't quite afford like a Corvette or something, but I could have this. This could be my Sunday morning car.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the life that I'm living. It's my daily driver. I live here in Chicago. I do drive it in the winter, but thankfully I don't have to drive much anymore. I still will probably put 15 to 18,000 miles on it every year. And it's a really nice practical car. The trunk is big for what it is.
But it's
I could
just
put people
you.
in it,
Like
sort of.
you have the advantage of it being just you. Okay, you got to understand
Yeah.
from a situation like I'm in. I
Yep.
have 2 kids and a wife. One of these kids is as tall as me. Long story short,
Yeah.
that car doesn't get used unless it's getting the shit beaten out of it because it's my escape vehicle. And I have loaned it to frickin' Jordan, and I think I'm starting to go nuts without it.
Yeah, I believe that. You're a good man for loaning it to Jordan, but yeah. So as a fun car, it's a very nice fun car. Like, there's nothing really wrong with it. Yeah, it's not a Corvette, but like it's also way cheaper than a Corvette. You and I don't fit in Miatas. If
No.
I did, I could probably get away with a Miata, but it is so much less practical that maybe not. I'd probably just be annoyed by it.
You know what would annoy you about a Miata? Taking a phone call while you're driving.
Okay, because of the road noise from the
Yep.
drop top.
Because it's,
Yeah.
and you know, or you know, making long trips in it. And this is nothing against, I know Miata owners, some people are just willing to deal with that or whatever. But if you're still talking a cloth top, there is nothing you can do. It's gonna be a little noisier. Okay. And
Yeah.
it's the deafening roar after long periods. Like the BRZ is, especially yours, is nice and quiet on the inside. Like,
Mm-hmm.
feels like a nice car, definitely practical.
Yeah.
Mine ain't.
Yeah, that's the thing. The BRZ is never annoying like that. Never. That's one thing Subaru does really well. I felt the same way when I had my STI, where this was a fun car, it was a practical car, but it was never annoying. It was just a good all-around car. It had 2 personalities, and BRZ is kind of the same way. If you drive it like a regular car, it's just a weird shaped Camry. You know, very practical, 2-seater. You know, the rear seats are basically useless, but practical. Gets good gas mileage. Put my groceries in the trunk. When you drive urgently, man, it is magic every time.
Mhm.
So, great car. All right, with the rest, the top trim is the TS still, and that is $38,360. So now we're
Which-
saying 38 grand.
Yeah, but you're only looking at a $2,000 upcharge to get that, and you get Brembos and some other shit. And like,
Yep.
I gotta be real. Like, I think that's very fair. Like, if you were to
yeah.
purchase one now, before I would have told you, get the base.
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm gonna
Yep.
tell you, get the TS.
I totally agree with you. So you're getting better shocks and you're getting Brembos. And for 2 grand, those 2 items, I would say it's totally worth it.
Personally, I think the shocks are. I think the majority of people who are going to be looking at this, who are listening to this, you're the oddball here. Okay.
Well,
The people who are listening to this are probably going to go aftermarket as far as suspension goes anyway. And I don't think the shocks were good enough to warrant that being looked at as a part of the price, but the brakes are worth the $2,000 alone.
yeah, I like where you're going with this. And I actually agree with you because the fortunes I have on the car, now that they're dialed in correctly, finally, are better at everything than the TS suspension.
By the way,
however,
I am handing your suspension settings out to everybody now. Well, that is a directive to everybody to start at 8 clicks up from full soft just to start.
no, I started at 5 from full soft, which is what Fortune's recommendation was.
Yes.
I went all the way to 17, which is basically like 8 from firm.
Wow, you're all the way up there, huh? Yeah, so maybe I'll
Yeah.
start telling people 10. All right.
Okay, because it was night and day how different the car felt, even from 5 to 12. I was mad. I was like, this is just something ain't right. This
We
is
should
too
put your
far
car
away.
in the autocross this weekend.
Yeah, I'm down. I still got the fancy boy tires on it. I haven't done an autocross in that car in a while since you and I did it at Flatfest.
I bet you I could pull some Subi Mod strings and go, hey, we want to do some, yeah. And maybe we'll get Nick to drive too. So maybe like me, you, and Nick will all take a swing at it. That could be fun.
Yeah, I'm down. I have to change the rear suspension to match the front because it's still in 12 clicks middle.
We'll
I
just
care about these things.
no.
But-
Don't fuck with anything. We'll just drive it as it is because then it forces us all to have to learn how to drive a damn car. Okay.
So the TS suspension is significantly better than the regular shocks that are on the BRZ. when you're just kind of clattering over potholes or just chattery chattery pavement, like on the highway, it's better. It's not perfect. The rears will still have some weird chatter. It'll kind of lose traction a little bit when you're, ripping on it and go over some bumps on the highway, but it's better. And yeah, as a base model, I would say the BRZ is the one to mod. The premium is in this weird middle spot where like it's good, but it could be better because the TS exists. So everybody should get the TS at this point. And then lastly, the limited edition color. They brought back yellow. For an extra $1,000, you too can be the Banana Man. And I think that's great. I
think spending a little extra money on like super strange premium colors, I'm not too mad about. I wish they do something more than stuff that's already been done. Like, I want to see him like throw some really weird colors at shit. I want to see him do like maybe like a slate gray would be kind of cool. Like I would spend an extra $2,000 and maybe get the what do they used to call that? That Mustang had this color, but it was like a kind of a purple that would change to like a green depending on the angle you looked at it. I want to see some like wacky ass colors. I want them to like really throw some strange shit at it. I would, and give us like 2 or 3 different colors like that. I think that would be fun. I'd be willing to pay $2,000 extra on top for that. An extra $1,000 for yellow. I don't know, man. So as it sits, I think you and I both agree though. The recommendation, if you were to buy a BRZ, a 26 BRZ, so you go into a dealership here right now and you put an order in for a BRZ, the TS is the way to go. I think the TS is the answer. Even if you're going to throw the suspension out, I wouldn't factor that into your value prospect. But the brakes I would value in that.
Keep the suspension. So you're going to have to rebuild your coilovers at some point. Keep your suspension.
Keep it around.
You go to trade the car. Yeah.
That or sell it to some dude with some bitch BRZ stuff that, you get a few $100 out of it. Whatever.
That's right. Base model dudes want the TS suspension because that is an upgrade for them.
Like I said, though, your use case and a lot of people's use cases for a vehicle that small, they could afford to stick it in the garage on some jack stands for a couple of weeks to get their suspension rebuilt. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, just throwing it out there.
You're not wrong.
You're an oddity.
For the record, if Americans weren't so weird, Subaru would sell this as a BRZ STI.
Okay? Oh, we're weird. Big weird.
Yeah, and in other countries, that trim level is called the BRZ STI. But here in America, TS, and we can all pretend it's second best or whatever. So
whatever.
Subarus, they do a lot of things right. Very practical cars. They can be conservative all they want. And they make their fun cars, and they make these really well done fun cars, and then people just get mad when they're not, a million horsepower or whatever.
Whatever.
Yep.
All right, what else do we got on here? I think this was outside of Subaru news, but it was more like an industry trend.
Yeah, so this came up a couple of weeks ago. It's kind of a two-parter, which is Porsche had planned to axe the gas-powered Cayman or Boxster, and at the 11th hour, they saved it. So is this a turning of the tide? And maybe, throughout history, one political administration will say we're going to go this way. Another administration comes in and said, we don't like that. We're going to go in a different direction. And I have a few extended family members who worked in the auto industries. And, these tides have been around for as long as there's been cars on the road. Sure. One of them told me that when it came to emissions, the government for decades was really harsh, where they're doing the best they can to build something better because it'll sell, better fuel economy for trucks, for example.
Yep.
But the government demands would just be flat out unreasonable. So before we go jump to conclusions that, it's the government demanding we all drive electric cars or the government demanding we all just set, trees on fire or whatever and burn coal.
Just burn the trees.
ain't that simple. It's just, different flavors of what do you want? It's not always extreme, but sometimes it is. So gas engines are not being canceled, which is probably a good thing.
So I'm more of the belief of how Toyota has kind of looked at this, where there are some situations where electrification makes a ton of sense. City cars, things like that. Like there is a large portion of our population, you even being a part of that
Oh yeah,
honestly would probably get served as good or better by an electric car. Like your life probably would be pretty solid with a Tesla. My life, on the other
yeah,
hand, wouldn't.
right.
It's very rare that I get into a car and not drive multiple hours. Like tomorrow, I'm going to drive, 8 hours. Like that's what I'm going to
Yeah,
do. And I'm not saying you
yep,
can't do that. I'm just saying, like, depending on where you're at and what you need in life, there are different things. And I think no matter what, there's going to be some sort of hybrid approach. Now, I do think, again, I'm going to say this again. It's actually cool. Subaru and Toyota are so close these days since Toyota owns a chunk of Subaru. But
yep.
um, the I think Toyota's philosophy on, especially with like the Camry and stuff like that, of their hybrids that can run, fully electric for a while if they needed to, you kind of have the best of both worlds the way that goes. I foresee that being a major part of the future. I could see like there even being mandates at some point for like some downtown areas that like you can't pass through here unless you're running full electric or something like that. I could see certain things like that happening. Am I excited about it? I mean, Subaru's already talked about maybe a hybrid STI before a full electric STI. That's something that's been floated a bunch lately. But I think
Yeah,
there's always going to be something with especially us old heads, and people who are looking for some sort of emotion from their vehicles. It isn't just a tool to get back and forth. That there's something an electric motor just cannot do that a gas engine can. It makes certain
yep,
noises, it reacts a certain way, it invokes a type of emotion you just can't get. Now, our old cars aren't going anywhere. They all exist. You can buy a used STI. Hell, dude, I'm seeing '08 STIs for so cheap right now. It's so dumb. Um, you can buy an older STI. You can get a BRZ. And we started this conversation with Porsche. And if you buy something like a Boxster or a Cayman, you're purchasing that not for practicality. You're purchasing it because there is some sort of emotional response you're getting from this, whether it's the way it looks, it's some form of status symbol, or like you need that sound. You're looking for that Porsche experience. And I think I think the world pushed really hard towards electrification and they needed to look like they were doing their part. And then I think the world contracted a little bit and they went, yeah, I don't think we were really about that yet. I do believe
yep,
we're going to see a small electric Boxster Cayman, maybe a variation of the Boxster Cayman that is electric. I think they'll use that chassis and do something electric. But I also think you're going to have gas options. It was one of the reasons that they went to the 4-cylinder and then brought the 4-liter back for the GTS because it had a particular sound. Like, and it really wasn't for performance. It was because it sounds a certain way. It's this. If we were all hell bent on just performance, it'd be electric vehicles, or there wouldn't be this push from enthusiasts to even get manual transmissions back. But we're all
yep.
looking for this emotional response to this, and a part of this whole hobby is that. If you ask a little kid to make race car sounds, it isn't going to sound like an electric motor buzzing. You know what I mean? So
So we went through a lot there,
yeah,
and you can't force the industry to change. it sort of works, it sort of doesn't work. I mean, look at Apple and having to have USB-C on their iPhones. They delayed that for 10 years and they weren't happy about it. Turns out it's better, but they kicked and screamed on it. But back to cars, it's going to happen anyway. And so you can only hope that it's a fun car no matter what. So if I'm sitting in traffic, yeah, there is nothing better than an electric car. I'm not the type that gets really emotional about, how does this car make me feel? But I am that way some of the time. I bought a BRZ because it's a great car.
I cannot wait till you take your BRZ to Tail the Dragon. At the end of October, I have a feeling you're gonna understand what your relationship is with cars. You're gonna look at it differently. If you don't, I will be fucking floored.
Oh, you're right. I mean, I think you're right. So you've known me for a long time. Oh gosh, 10 or 11 years at this point.
Yep.
And you know how neurotic I can get and how I get so focused on different things. And then I go drive the car because you tell me to go drive the car. And yeah, I come out of it looking at it differently. You're 100% right. So
I wish more people would just do exactly what you just did, though. And it's the same reason I told you that. I tell other people, go drive your damn car.
Yep.
Like, go drive your car. Don't stop getting hung up like other people get hung up on, like, I want to make sure I have the right header or whatever. Like, and I don't want to take any. Yeah, what oil should I use? I don't want to take anything away from like the enjoyment of modifying your car and doing the research and stuff.
Yep.
It's a part of it. It's fun. Don't get me wrong. But a major part of it needs to be using your damn car. Go use it. Use it. And it like this is where you start getting that that emotional response that I was talking about. You should have a relationship with your vehicle. There's more to it than this is not just a tool, or something to look at. And if that's all it is to you, I mean, that's you, but I gotta be real. You're missing out on the best part, in my opinion.
Yep. I don't think it's going to get worse in the hybrid era or in the heavy electrified era, or whatever it ends up being in the future. It's a choice that the manufacturers make to make, fun cars versus just boring cars. And it's a choice that drivers make. I could be neurotic about my car and never drive it, or I could just say, I don't care. I like it. I drive it. And that's where my happiness comes from.
Depends on the way mandates and stuff go. I think there's going to be people, there's going to be manufacturers, there's going to be, they're going to fight tooth and nail till well after we're gone and dead. Probably well after our kids are gone and dead. But I do see it shifting pretty hard though. So what the hell is that? LS1 GC8. Oh
LS1
my
and a
God.
GC. That's a pick in the chat. Wow. Yeah, you put an LS1 in anything.
You sure can. The problem with that, I can just tell right now by where that LS is sitting, that car is now rear wheel drive. I mean, to each their own.
Yeah,
if that's your thing,
how it goes.
I have no problems with that. But what I definitely can say is that ruins the whole concept. Like, there's so many other chassis you can use. Even a BRZ. I've even thrown out their SVXs would be great for it. Like, go use one of those.
Ooh.
But cool. Like these all-wheel drive cars, especially, look how clean that GC is. And I'm going to say this, and somebody's going to be sad, but what a fucking waste.
I think it's cool, but, I do like all-wheel drive, he says, driving a BRZ. Oh, one other thing on this Porsche.
Yeah.
While we're talking. Some new Porsches are tuned to run at 14.7 AFR, which is 1 lambda for the nerds out there. Mm-hmm. No matter what, even under high load, even under full throttle, they never richen up.
Wild.
That's crazy. Which means if they can do it, it'll happen to everybody else eventually.
It's coming. You see things, Porsche, Mercedes, honestly, all the crazy stuff always comes out of German manufacturers. Okay. Yep. The bleeding edge stuff starts with German manufacturers. And I mean like everything. Seatbelts, anti-lock brakes, overhead cams, like all of it. Okay. Yep.
Probably and direct injection, probably.
I'm pretty sure direct injection, dual clutch gearboxes, all of that stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And then the Japanese figure out how to do it like more reliably. All right. And then 20 years later, American car companies figure out how to do it poorly. So, if it's going to happen anywhere, it's going to be there. And, you know, in the next 5 to 7 years, you know, and these timelines have gotten shorter because, you know, the speed of everything else, and manufacturing has changed in the way things work. But, I could see, I could definitely see Japanese manufacturers messing around with that in the very near future. That's wild.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that on like really piss octane fuel too? Like 91 or worse?
Oh gosh. No, I could not.
So here's a question. Let's
fuel.
throw this out here. And you know, this is my smooth brain and your smooth brain talking about smooth brain things that we don't really understand, but let's throw it out here.
Right.
Okay. I've never understood this about California and 91 octane. I'm sure there's some reasoning on why they went with 91 versus 93 and the fuel over on that side of the country. I know they all use that same fuel. What I don't understand is, for the sake of efficiency, to me, it seems like they would want to go with like higher quality, higher octane fuel. So then smaller displacement engines could do what larger displacement engines are doing more efficiently by, you know, more timing, boost, things of that nature, and not break down as much. To me, that's the way I see this. I feel like if you're trying to bleed every amount of efficiency out of these vehicles, you would want to raise the octane.
Yeah, I don't have notes about this, and I wish I did, but lower octane fuel requires less processing. So that's less energy intensive to create the fuel, and that's probably why California likes it. So
okay,
that's
no,
why
I'll go with that.
Yep.
But what if we put more effort into trying to make higher octane fuel easier, and or, we start having a conversation about adding more ethanol to the situation?
Yeah, I would like that.
What if it was 98 octane with like 30% ethanol for a kicker? Or it was 93 octane, sorry. Or even 91. Let's say it's their piss ass 91 and we add, you know, like 40% ethanol to the situation. That would bump that effective octane level up quite a bit.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It'd be cleaner,
it benefits
too.
the farmers who are kind of suffering right now. You know, it's been a difficult time for them the last couple of years. So yeah,
man, where's W when you need them? He could be out here pushing ethanol, getting farmers growing corn in all sorts of frickin' random crevices of their frickin' farms.
You know, you and I talked to a gentleman who is in the fueling business who said E85 flex fuel is going away. That was years ago.
And we're still here. We're still here.
That's right.
And there's still, like, I remember having that conversation thinking, shit, I'm going to move to Tennessee where they already don't have a lot of ethanol, and there's going to be less and less. And that's not true. I'm starting to see ethanol stations pop up all over the place down here. So I'm just, what the hell do I know? I feel like I see less and less vehicles labeled as flex fuel also. But so now that's kind of weirded me out too. Like, how many vehicles out there are technically labeled as flex fuel? I think Ford's V8s still are. I don't think Chevys are, which is crazy because most people are using the GM Continental sensor.
Weird. When I rented a U-Haul, that was a flex fuel vehicle.
Yeah, but how old was it?
U-Hauls I rented.
A lot of them are a little older.
That's true.
Yeah. So if you're talking pre-2020, there are a whole pile of flex fuel vehicles. You don't see that badge put on anything anymore, but I wonder how many vehicles are actually technically set up for flex fuel.
Yeah, I don't know. But
the subsidies are kind of gone for it.
Well, I wonder if that comes first before they phase out the fuel. Is that how that works, do you think? Or is it just the world moving in two different directions?
I don't know. Like I like literally we are sitting here again with our smooth brains, posing more of a question to the world. We're not answering anything right now. We don't have all the answers.
So on an FA24 in the new WRX, you add a tune, it's what, 50 horsepower, and you add flex fuel, and it's what, another 50, something like that. It's crazy numbers.
Well, a lot of that's just due to higher, it's more
Yeah.
resistant to knock, so you can turn it up more.
Right. So those are big gains. I mean, the Subaru guys, we benefit the most because a lot of those cars are turbo cars.
Well,
So
yeah,
I'm
but
glad it's not gone
I
away.
agree with that. But then you could also flip that again and go, let's say you're a gas engine, 1,500 pickup truck, right?
Right.
Okay, and if you were to specify in your owner's manual and put on their flex fuel, if you run flex fuel in this, it's better for towing. You're going to get worse gas mileage, but it's easier on the engine, and we're going to give you a little more torque.
Right. When I drove my STI on flex fuel, I didn't lose all that much fuel economy. It was almost the same, but I was paying a lot less for fuel. So there's a math
Adam
calculus
just
to
brought
this.
something up. You can't use MTBE in Cali. I'm not 100% sure what MTBE is, but I think that's some sort of something that gets mixed in with the fuel. And due to that, there is a completely different mixture on the West Coast.
It's an octane booster. So when you and I were at PRI last year, or last year or the year before, I don't remember, but we were talking to a guy who had like an octane booster, and it was for, you're in the middle of nowhere, you just need to boost the octane by 2 or 3.
I kind of remember this guy. Yeah.
Dump it in. It's just concentrated MTBE.
Okay.
But it leaves like, I guess, ashy deposits, so you don't want to do it all the time. Something like that.
Okay. And so in Cali, they don't allow that as some sort of additive to fuel everywhere else in the world, but I could, okay. That makes sense. And since California kind of runs the West Coast, everybody has to go the way California goes.
California has the mountain range, of course, and it traps a lot of pollution. And so there's so many cars, and it just sits there in Los Angeles or wherever it is.
Smog.
Yeah, smog. So you tell me that half those cars turn to electric, that smog's not going to get better? It will.
I agree with that.
Traffic.
I'm not saying it wouldn't. Okay. And I could see in California that mandates coming where like downtown Los Angeles, like if you have a hybrid mode that can run in full electric, like you're going to need to, or maybe you pay some sort of carbon tax or something. I could see that coming. I'm not saying I agree with it or disagree with it. I'm saying I could see it coming.
For small gas engines, those got phased out most of the places, and California is probably the leader. Problem that people had was the electric equivalents weren't as good, or they break more. So if they fix that, it's a better product.
Yeah.
So
Adam says that was since 2001, and I remember it being in 2001 because I was there when it happened. I was actually out there for
Marine Corps.
Yeah, I was in the Marine Corps for my MOS training, and I remember I was just getting into the car community at that point. I remember a bunch of car guys freaking out about it. I didn't know anything, like I didn't know enough to know the effect of it. But yeah, it's yep.
So do you have any other items on your news list? Because that's all that I had. I feel like there was one more, but it's completely out of my brain and off the list.
So what I thought was kind of wild. Actually, Adam did bring something up. I want to. Adam thinks we should do. Hold on. Black and yellow. This was way back there. Long story short, I think he was talking about having IAG do try to do that 60,000 mile test using IAG engines. I think that would be sick.
Yeah, that would be sick.
That would be sick. That would be super sick if we got three different types of engines too. Like you had like a BRZ, and then you had like some sort of EJ powered thing, and then you had like an FA24 WRX. Like those are our three cars, so we're actually covering three because it's not like a manufacturer test, and we try to do that same thing. That would be such a fucking flex.
That's a lot of work, though. So 100,000 kilometers, 62,000 miles. They did it 24/7. Subaru of America did it 24/7 for over 18 days.
Yep.
So you need a lot of people that feel comfortable and qualified to drive at 150 miles an hour, 24 hours a day.
That test center's not that big of a deal. We got enough Subaru-ass time attack drivery sort of people who'd want to be involved with that I got a feeling we could make some shit happen with a little bit of support from, IAG to do that. We provide the 3 cars. I have a hard time believing we couldn't do it.
It would be a flex for the rest of the car as well. So you got an IAG engine in it, but it's going to be a stock transmission in your
Sure.
BRZ. It's good.
I got to be real. You know who we'd have to get involved with that?
Who?
Subaru.
Yeah.
But then they'd be like, this is kind of dumping on our own product. We aren't using our engine. But then again, like, it's kind of talking about the enthusiast side of it. I don't know. That'd be hard. Maybe you could get the entire Subaru aftermarket involved with it. You get like Cobb, different Subaru aftermarket companies together. We'll get paired to throw oil coolers on all the cars, something like that.
I like this idea, but the problem is 100,000 kilometers is a ton of fuel burned. And I don't think Subaru is about that anymore. 1989 was a long time ago.
We don't do it with Subaru. We do it. We literally the aftermarket.
Do it on ethanol. Do it on E85.
Oh, it'd be even better. We just brought out fuck tons of ethanol.
Yeah. Yeah. Barrel, just like Sunoco barrel E85.
Okay, let's talk about this real quick. How many barrels would it take for one vehicle that was getting, okay, so we're going 130 miles an hour? So let's just say
you have to think it's 150 because the average was 138, and that's counting stops.
Oh my God, dude, that is screaming.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we talking? 5 miles to the gallon if we were lucky?
Yeah, call it 5. Okay, so that's 62,000 divided by 5, 12,400 gallons. Divided by 55-gallon drums, 226 drums.
Per vehicle?
For one car.
Oh my God. Dude, we'd have to bring a whole freaking semi.
Yeah, you'd have to hire a semi and then pay the guy with the, with the semi to be there for 3 weeks.
Oh, that would be unreal. God, it'd be so cool.
You're looking at, I don't know,
okay,
man.
So we do one.
Just fuel cost alone. All right, fuel
one.
cost alone, 12,400 times, I'm going to be really generous, $2 a gallon. $25,000 in fuel for one car.
Dude, to be real then, if we were to attempt this, even if we did it on the cheap side, we're going to have, 200K into this? Minimum.
Yeah.
We have the car. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
That really puts into perspective, I guess, gas was a little cheaper.
Right.
Would we be smarter doing it on gasoline then? Because I bet you would get a little better gas mileage out of it.
At that level, I bet it's about the same. At full tilt boogie, I bet E85 is basically the same, and it'll keep the engines cooler and all these things.
Sure.
So
I tell you what, you definitely get you might be able to get a big ethanol company involved with it.
Yeah. It just goes to show when Subaru did this, that was corporate money. That was adjusting for inflation is probably 500K. Because you think about it, you got to put all those people up in hotels for over 2 weeks, basically 3 weeks. And they didn't bring 5 people. They probably brought like 50.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's a full court press right there. Man, oh man.
Yeah, that's wild. So, holy cow, dude. Like, I'm still trying to wrap my brain around like it. Now, if you think about the logistics of what they did, that is crazy. And then they didn't do it with 1, they did it with 3.
They did it with 3.
Now,
so that's,
to their defense, 3 means they could, it would be easier to field the other 2 than just 1. It's not the exact same lift because you would have like a couple of techs there that would probably work on all 3, you know what I mean? And like they only, so like the lift wouldn't be quite as bad, especially if the cars were identical.
Well, so let's talk about this. So what would be tripled? Fuel, oil, tires, not drivers, not spare parts, and not technicians.
Spare parts to if we have 3 different types of cars. If we have 3 of the same car, spare parts would be fine.
Yeah. Right. So brake rotors, they're probably not burning through any brakes whatsoever. So it's going to be tires.
Dude, they aren't even going to touch the brakes.
Bearings.
I bet you they don't even look at you like if you have you would be smart if you were to do this. Show up with new wheel bearings, any bearing you could replace, you should.
Yeah.
You know, diffs, stuff like
Tires,
that, axles, like you'd want to make sure that shit was all
axles,
new and beautiful. Tires, obviously, very
potentially a
new.
trans, but you don't need 3 times as many engineers.
No.
You don't need 3 tracks.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would be brutal. Tire company would be good. He's right. Tire company would be pretty sweet to have a part of that too. Beating that record would be a huge lift, but I absolutely think it could be done.
If Subaru were to get on board with it, it would need to be carbon neutral fuels, because Subaru and Toyota have tested like BRZ Cup cars in Japan running on carbon neutral actual gasoline. It's like synthetic gasoline. I forget how they make it, but they make it in renewable ways.
Because, are they going to be able to get enough of that out into the middle of frickin' the Arizona test facility desert or wherever the hell we're going to run this?
How much money you got?
Like, where's
That's the problem?
I'd like to see what that facility looks like. Does it make sense doing it there, or like Talladega? Because Dega, I think, would have like the banking of the track might actually like put a lot of pressure on one side of the car. And like you're probably more apt to eat wheel bearings and stuff like that, which would, you'd have a bad day.
Let's see. Arizona Science Center. No, that's not what I want.
Like Adam's thinking about this now. He's in the chat. And he's like, averaging 150 miles a day for 18 days is crazy. It's nuts. It's nuts. It is it's absolutely nuts. Crazy concept. It would be.
So the oval was 5.7 miles long, which by oval standards is long.
That's huge.
Let's see.
Is it still there?
I'm checking. Arizona oval.
That's huge. That is, oh my God, dude. So I'm assuming
it's Nissan's proving grounds.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's still there. Let's see. Nissan proving grounds. Wow, it is.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that. Oh, it's still there. Yeah.
Okay.
Nissan's there. Okay. Yeah. It's just a big ass oval, and it is.
I wonder how banked it
Phoenix. I can find out, but
send me a picture.
I know exactly where this is.
Or throw something in the chat.
Send it in the chat.
In the chat.
Yep. Enter. Okay, so.
I can't even wrap my brain around that. All right, I'm zooming in on it. Okay, and that's 5 miles. Yeah, this is huge.
Yeah.
Okay, so that banking's gonna be. It isn't gonna be too god awful. Oh, they won't let you drop a guy on there to look at it.
That makes sense, right? It's
private.
Private road.
Yeah.
But okay, yeah. There used to be the really big test course, the one that was in Gran Turismo that was in Japan, but they tore that one down.
Okay. Well, I mean, so going back to this, it's something that could happen.
Right.
It would just take, the lift would be absurd. I would still love to see it. I'm not going to lie. I think it would be incredible.
Yeah, those are big records. Like, that record still exists today, and that was in 1989.
For a reason. But can you imagine the flex that would be? Especially if you did it with the aftermarket?
I would like to see Subaru beat it in some cooler way. So, corporate.
We're talking. Well, I got to be real. What I would like to see is, there's so many haters out there about built engines lasting. Okay. Yep. And like, how much money have we spent in marketing trying to like prove our product when if we could go and accomplish that? Now, this is assuming we pull it off. The worst thing that could happen here is we go and try to attempt this and we don't complete it. But let's assume we go there and pull it off. Even if we put 200 grand into it or more, let's be real, it's probably going to be more like 300. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. If we put 300 grand into making this work, nobody could say anything to that. Like in today's internet age, you wouldn't not be able to see that forever.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
It's not a micro record, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's not some like that's one of those things that would make people that they would rethink a lot of like what they think about what can be done within the aftermarket, you know. And I think it would be huge for the Subaru community. Love to see it. I don't know if we ever will. We're hung up on that. We had a few other questions in the chat that I want to get to. One of them, first off, have you noticed the past like week and a half you can't avoid seeing us? Like, it's Dylan and I and Boogie are everywhere. It has been crazy. So we tied the championship up. Like, everybody knows that, right?
I thought you won the championship. I thought you mathematically cannot lose.
It's tied up. It's done. So it's like, so
it is sewn up.
It is sewn up. We're good. Whatever. It's done. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm not going to say we've started celebrating, but to a degree we have started celebrating a little bit. And Koning has been blasting our stuff all over the place. Dylan made this fantastic reel last night that we made for Fuel Lab. If you have not watched that, it is ridiculously funny.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh my God, dude. Somebody put it in the frickin' in the chat. It's on Insta. It's on my wall.
Come up on my feed, but I haven't watched it yet.
It is too funny. Then the guys at DEI that, you know, make all the heat protective products and stuff like that, they posted something about, hey, they won the championship or whatever, and that was really cool. Like, a bunch of our sponsors have been posting stuff about it, which is awesome. But then in one of their posts, I wrote this blurb about how much I love their turbo
blankets.
And because it's like freaking witchcraft. Okay. No, I'm not gonna lie. This turbo blanket isn't cheap. We sell a turbo blanket. This is kind of counterintuitive to our own product. But our turbo blanket is significantly cheaper, and it's on par with like most of the rest of the people out there. And for like a drag car or whatever, honestly, this turbo blanket's great. What would happen with us though is we would cook these turbo blankets so hard that they'd immediately turn brittle. And then we're constantly having to service things on it. So you pull the turbo blanket off. We'd only get half a season out of it before it'd start crumbling and falling apart. Okay. Like street car stuff like that, you're probably fine. But, you know, and I don't want to take, you know, we make a solid product. Okay. But DEI made this straight up witchcraft product with their turbo blanket. I don't know what it's made out of, but it feels like the day we bought it. Okay, well, they gave it to us, but it feels like the day we got it, and it is like, it's still pliable and great and easy to use, and it's nice to the touch. It doesn't give you any of that itchy shit. And dude, we pulled it off on and off a million times, and it still is great. So I put something in there about how like this turbo blanket is straight up witchcraft, and then they made their own like meme with that.
They made their ad.
It's so good,
well
dude.
Done.
Dude, it's nuts. And then Jeremy Bailey. Okay, so if you're not seeing us, you're seeing other people, you know, that are surrounded with us. Jeremy Bailey's on the cover of Grassroots Motorsports, lifting a wheel through a corner.
2 wheels, yep.
It is so sick. Dude, we're all over the damn place. Great. You can't avoid us. We are inevitable.
I think Koenig did a really good job as well. They put you on like a banner on their
Oh
website.
yeah, we were right on. If you go to Koenig's website right now, we're literally their banner at the top. Like
Yeah.
some of that is definitely Rob Wilkinson in those pictures, but one
Great
of the
job.
things I've always wanted. It's not even like one of the things I've always wanted, and I kind of stressed to a lot of our partners and stuff is like I want this reciprocated. Like I want to talk about your product, but like we should be sharing each other. And when this happens, so Koenig shares Boogie on their site. But what essentially that's doing is that's showing not only their wheels, but it's showing IAG, Subi Mods, Fortunato, all of these other companies that we work with is now on there. You know what I mean? So like that's the cool thing about race cars is like we're getting all this cross pollination all over the place. So like I there's just it's cool to see it work. I've talked about it, but now it's really starting to work. And it's cool because you're getting companies that work with us that like let's say Koenig, like I haven't seen this specifically, but just since it's in my brain, like IAG might share DEI or Koenig, or Fortunato might share a Koenig ad, and like so you're starting to get all this cross pollination and stuff, and it's awesome. It's super cool, and it honestly, if you think about it, it's making your social media manager their life is easy. You do some collab stuff, whatever. Everybody's bouncing around. It's great. Everybody's winning. So, I love it.
Agree. Yeah, it helps to win. Like all these guys are posting because they're stoked you won a championship.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I want to throw this out there too. Like, we're winning because of the support we get from the community. We wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for the type of support we get. Because people are posting and sharing and doing stuff like that and being hyped in the posts and blowing up the live cast with pirate flags and stuff, and just generally being excited about whatever we're doing with that. It allows us to, IAG sees this and, they want to continue doing it. Subi Mods wants to be a part of it. Fortunato wants to continue to work with us. It helps, Koenig was awesome. Like that was such an easy thing to bring to them. And they were like, yes, let's do this. We're really hyped. And that's exciting that you can bring that to them, but it wouldn't be there if it wasn't for the people who are actually like, not just following us, but like legitimate fans. You guys are buying the t-shirts and all of this stuff. It is the reason we can do stuff. If you want to support us, and you have no other way to do it, just sharing things like this podcast, sharing those posts, things that's huge, or just commenting in them. But then, like the amount of people who bought a t-shirt, dude, that's crazy. We have sold through so many t-shirts, and it is
finally, man. They're great t-shirts. And it took a little while for them to come up.
It's so good. It's so good, dude. And I love it. I've always wanted Boogie and the whole concept behind Boogie and Team Boogie to be the people's chant. Like we're doing this for you guys. Like I gotta be real. We're still using this old chassis and doing this because you guys want it to happen. If you guys weren't super fans of this, there would be a lot less of a value prospect to this whole thing to make it make any sense. And yeah, there's always the testing side of it and everything else, and that's one of the big reasons that IAG goes and does this. But then IAG we can afford to win because we have other people that are a part of this. So it's awesome. Like you guys are making this work, and we just love you to pieces for it. Josh Aldrich, he asked,
what did he ask?
Are we going to talk about how you haven't filled out your Street Mod sandbox? Now, I've said this a couple times because now I'm starting to get the whole blurb of when are you going to move up to track mod? I get this every year about this time. When are you going to move up? When are you going to move up? And what I'm going to tell you is we ain't leaving, okay? At no point do we have any intentions of leaving Street Modified within Grid Life. Now, we might do World Time Attack, or maybe we'll do a hill climb or something else. And if the rules are a little different, we got to tweak some things, sure. But the Street Modified is where this car sits. Now, there is still a ton we can do to this car. Our aero is grotesquely unoptimized. Okay, we still have a long way we can go on suspension. I'm still working on things as a driver. We haven't even put in the electronic wastegate. We're hoping to be trying that, with Turbo Smart, trying that at Pit Race. There's still so much that can be done, so much we can learn, and we're still learning new things about even the EJ platform, even after all these years, and we've done almost 16,000 engines at IAG now. We're still learning new things and ways to improve, and we're learning those things through racing, and you want to be able to prove that product. But not only that, there's new generations coming in, and I then flip that one more time. There's lots of new cars coming into Street Mod, and we still believe we can take this 90s shitbox and compete with these guys. And I want to, why would we walk away from what we're doing there when it works there's still records to be beat. We can still go significantly faster. And again, we are not optimized yet. There's always room to push. If we'd have to absolutely run into the walls of the sandbox, and we're not there yet. We're not there. So,
yep.
There's more to be done.
Other questions in the chat? Are there?
I don't know. I'm digging around. I'm heading down. There's Jeremy on the front there. That's good. The banner on Koenig's site's so good. I love it so much.
It's great. A+.
We could still do a carbon roof, like Serapin Wolf just said. You're not lying. Any updates on Fortunato's new lower mounts? Yeah, actually, I can talk about that a little bit. We actually have those new lower mounts on the back of Boogie, a prototype set. We have some feedback for them. I'm interested to see what they change, or if they change anything. The measurements were slightly different, so it made it kind of hard to do the alignment the way we need it. Now, Boogie's kind of an odd case, but to get the amount of camber we wanted in the rear, things changed up a little bit, and they have these inserts to get you in the ballpark where you need to be as far as camber. Again, this is a prototype thing. So I just talked to Devin about this today, and I told him, I'm like, you guys have this insert that kind of centers the top bolt, and then you have an insert that puts it really far out. You need one in the middle. So yeah, I got to get that. I'm hoping they ship it with 3. Okay. And I believe again, we have a very, very early prototype, so we're not even sure what the situation is there. Oh, okay. So I was actually farting around in Koenig's live cast that they do, I don't know, once a week, once every other week, something like that. They were live and answering questions, and I dropped in. They're a new sponsor of Boogie's, and I figured I could lend some support, whatever, and I'm sure it helps their algorithm. So I opted in, messed around in there, and one of the things I asked about was if they're ever going to come out with a 5x100 10.5 wheel. So a 10.5 with 5x100 bolt pattern. And they're like, well, if you get enough people together, we could probably do something like that. They do have I would like to see a 17x10.5 would be mint. It would be so good. 18x10.5 would do the job too. But a 17x10.5, I think, would be perfect.
That'd be awesome for Dolly or something.
It would be a BRZ track slut. They already have a 10, which is already really good. Most of the guys are running that exact wheel already. I'm actually going to see if we can, on IAG, become a dealer so we can sell those. But yeah. long story short, I got to ask because in the middle of it, they're like, well, a lot of people go to 5x114 or whatever. 5x114 is not easy on a BRZ, by the way. There's a couple of different kits to do it, but there's not like an easy upgrade. But people were wondering, why did Subaru go from 5x100 to 5x114? Well, there were a couple of reasons. The big one, though, the absolute biggest one, was they needed to spread the bolts, the bolt pattern out a little bit to fit a bigger wheel bearing. It has been my understanding for this forever, that if they use the 5x100 knuckle, the hub, it was the pattern was too close and they couldn't put the size wheel bearing on it that they wanted. Okay, I have a feeling they could have figured something out with that. This isn't the only time they did 5x114. They did 5x114 also on the SVX, which is another oddity. But the other reason I think they did that was literally nothing existed in a 5x100 for a motorsports wheel at that point, and they were trying to throw the rally guys and everybody else a bone. So that helped them out quite a bit, but that is not the situation today. Again, going back to this, the biggest reason that most Subaru owners, though, they go from a 5x100 to 5x114 is what they're looking for isn't the bolt pattern these days as much as it is the bigger wheel bearing. That wheel bearing setup is significantly nicer. If you get the right ones, or even on a GD, they're even bolt-in, which is nice. You don't got to press them in and out. You could swap a wheel bearing at the track. Take you 20 minutes. It's the biggest reason most people do the 5x114 conversion on their like GCs and GDs is for the larger wheel bearing though. If you've ever felt pad knockback in a 5x100 knuckle on track, it is terrifying. And if you're wondering what that is, that's essentially, let's say you come around a big sweeper, okay? You've some high G ass corner with a 5x100 knuckle with some really grippy tires. What'll happen is the hub will flex enough to where it'll push the brake pad in, and then you'll go to hit the brakes and there will be nothing there because the pad is not seated right up against the rotor. 5x100 knuckles were really bad about it. So they ended up fixing that problem. They fixed that problem by just going to a bigger wheel bearing, and it got rid of basically all of that flex. I've never had that issue in a STI knuckle, but I have definitely had that issue with WRXs. Absolutely terrifying. What should voltage be when the car's turned on? I'm getting 12.4 on the Cobb. Battery voltage running. And what Adam just said, depending on what you have running and everything, it can depend. I'm not freaking out about 12.5. That's not like does it lower as you're sitting there? What Adam's saying is that is a 14 volt system, so it should be in that ballpark, but
yeah, it depends on the car. Some cars will turn the alternator off and just let it run off the battery. The BRZ does, but of course people don't run BRZs on Cobb, do they?
Nope. Hardly anybody, at least. It exists, but they don't really do it. So yeah, I think it's about it. Anybody got any other questions? Check it with a multimeter, just like Adam said. Oh man, I want to do that frickin' that 60,000 mile
100,000 kilometers.
100,000 kilometers. I want to see if we could beat that record.
It's an FIA record too.
Oh man. So that means it's world. That's not just some like random bullshit. That's like a legit big deal FIA record. That means if we did it, we'd probably have to get somebody from the FIA to come out and watch us.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, that'd be sick. Adam, let's talk him into it. You want me to like start trolling around at PRI to see if we can get some folks on board? And then we're gonna need a grotesque amount of everything.
Including money.
I mean,
A wheelbarrow full of money.
I mean,
Yep.
there's, it's out there, man. Let's see if there's a little bit. No, that is attainable. Let's do it. If we're gonna do it, swing for the fence, man. You got me. I'm so hyped about this right now. I've never been so hyped about what essentially would be some of the most boring driving we've ever done.
Man, I don't know. 150. I hope you don't get bored of that.
I tell you what, 150. It since we are toying with the aftermarket too. I think we're going to want to try to make the car as efficient as possible, and some of that's going to be having a conversation about aero.
Oh yeah,
we would
that's
want that
safety as
car
well.
to chill. Yeah, because at 150 miles an hour, especially when you're out in the desert, you're going to get weird crosswinds and crap.
Ordinary cars generate lift at high speeds. You have to get rid of that to keep your car on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
All right, we can talk about this all night.
yeah. All right, we'll call
Good
it.
here.
So I'm gonna
Cool.
see you this weekend, and we'll
See you
hang
this
out.
weekend.
All right.
Drive safe.
Yep. It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun, and we will see you guys next time.